Imagine walking down a street paved with ashes. Literally ashes. That was Tokyo in 1945. A city devastated by firestorms, reduced to rubble and ash. How did they bounce back? Not just rebuild, but become an economic powerhouse, a technological innovator. We're talking, of course, about the bullet train. That's our deep dive today.
Yeah, the scale of the challenge is almost unimaginable. We have firsthand accounts, like Robert Guillain, a French journalist. He was there during the Tokyo firebombing.
Oh, wow.
He describes streets glowing red, firefighters battling endlessly, the water supply failing, buildings collapsing all around them.
Sounds apocalyptic. And yet they recovered. Remarkable. It's a story for all of us, really, when we feel overwhelmed by challenges.
Personal.
Professional. It doesn't matter. Japan's post-war story. It's about resilience, ingenuity,
Yeah.
the power of the human spirit.
Absolutely, and that's the path we're tracing today. From the ashes of 45 to the launch of the Shinkansen, the bullet train, October 1st, 1964.
Okay, so how did they do it? Let's start with the Yoshida Doctrine,
Mm.
who was Shigeru Yoshida, Japan's prime minister right after the war.
Right. Yoshida, he was a pragmatist. He knew what they were up against, his strategy. It became known as the Yoshida Doctrine, a calculated risk. Instead of rebuilding their military, they focused on the economy, relied on the U.S. for security, poured resources into industries, steel, coal, that sort of thing.
So rebuild the economy first, even if it meant accepting U.S. protection. That must have been tough, strategically, and for national pride.
Oh, absolutely. It was controversial. Some saw it as shrewd, a necessary compromise. Others, humiliating, a blow to their sovereignty.
And then, in the middle of all this rebuilding, the Korean War starts, 1950. How did that impact Japan?
Well, it was a tragedy, obviously, but for Japan, it was a strange turn of events, created a huge demand for Japanese goods and services from the U.S. forces stationed there. Yoshida himself called it a gift from the gods, gave their economy a much-needed boost.
Wow. So even a global conflict like the Korean War played a role in shaping Japan's recovery. It's amazing how these things connect. But how did the bullet train come about amidst all this industrial growth?
Picture this. 1958, Shinji Sogo, president of Japanese National Railways. He's on a train, Osaka to Tokyo. Packed. Slow. Uncomfortable. The same frustrating journey. Millions of Japanese commuters faced every day.
So that's where the idea for a high-speed train comes from. Just a regular, frustrating commute.
You got it. But convincing the government, not so simple. Imagine trying to sell this idea, a revolutionary, expensive, high-speed rail system, to a government focused on basic rebuilding. Sogo faced pushback everywhere. Funding issues, doubts about the technology.
So how did he pull it off? Did he have to compromise his vision?
Let's just say he had to be creative. Sources suggest he might have fudged the numbers a bit, downplayed the costs, but his persistence paid off.
A man with a vision.
That's for sure. And once construction started, the innovation behind the Shinkansen, it was truly remarkable. Wider rails for stability at high speeds, electric-powered carriages for efficiency, and that sleek aerodynamic design we all know and love, groundbreaking stuff, revolutionary even.
And I bet those first test runs were exhilarating.
They were. 1962, a prototype Shinkansen smashed speed records, 118 miles per hour. The culmination of years of work.
Must felt like a victory, a symbol. Japan was back on the world stage in a big way. But didn't we say the project went over budget?
Sadly, yes. And that cost Sogo his job, after all he did, to bring the Shinkansen into life.
That's a shame. He didn't get to see it through. It's like that with these big innovations sometimes. Unsung heroes. Pushing boundaries. Paving the way. Don't always get the recognition.
True. And speaking of recognition, the Shinkansen's grand opening, perfect timing, October 1st, 1964, just in time for the Tokyo Olympics.
Wow. Symbolic indeed. A nation reborn. Showcasing its tech to the world. At the perfect moment. Tell me, what was the impact of the Shinkansen for Japan? For the world?
Well, travel times between major cities, Tokyo, Osaka, all of them, drastically reduced. Revolutionized transportation in Japan became a symbol of their technological advancement, and for the rest of the world, a signal. Japan was back, a force to be reckoned with.
From ashes to bullet trains. What a story. Resilience and innovation. And we're just getting started. Stick with us. We'll delve deeper into Japan's post-war transformation. In part 2 of our deep dive, we're back and diving deeper into Japan's post-war transformation. It's really striking how they achieved such progress while also dealing with huge social and cultural shifts. Adds another dimension to their story, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It speaks to their resilience, rebuilding their infrastructure, their economy, but also navigating those tricky societal changes. As we wrap up, I think it's important to look at the lasting impact of this era. What lessons can we learn? How do those lessons resonate today?
Great question. We've only just scratched the surface here. What are some of the key takeaways for you?
Well, the biggest one, it reinforces the power of human resilience. They faced unimaginable destruction, and they didn't just rebuild. They innovated, adapted, emerged as a global leader. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, there's potential for growth, for transformation.
They took devastation and turned it into fuel, a blueprint for overcoming adversity.
Exactly. And beyond just resilience, Japan's approach to economic development offers valuable insights. The Yoshida Doctrine, emphasizing economic recovery over military spending, that played a key role in their rapid growth.
But we can't forget, that approach had its critics, relying on the U.S. for security,
Wow.
while focusing on the economy, balancing national pride with the need to rebuild. That must have been a tough decision.
It highlights the choices leaders face after conflict, after crisis, trade-offs, complexities. You need long-term vision, a willingness to make hard choices.
And that commitment to quality, precision, it became synonymous with Japanese manufacturing. Amazing how they built that reputation for excellence, not just in electronics,
Yeah.
but across industries.
It shows their dedication to craftsmanship, to getting it right, to understanding that quality builds trust and drives success, attention to detail, commitment to excellence. We can all learn from that, no matter what we do, building products, leading teams, or pursuing our passions.
Taking pride in your work, no matter what it is. So we have resilience, strategic planning, a commitment to quality, all valuable lessons from Japan's post-war experience. What about the cultural side of things? How do they handle modernization, tradition, all during this time of massive change?
That's a fascinating aspect of their story. As Japan embraced new technologies, Western influences, there's this parallel effort to preserve their cultural heritage, their identity, a real balancing act. Embrace progress, but don't lose your roots.
A challenge for many societies today. Modernization,
Yeah.
globalization. How do you embrace the new without losing what makes you unique? Tough question. But Japan's experience gives us some clues.
It does, and it reminds us. Progress doesn't have to erase the past. It's about integrating tradition and innovation, honoring your heritage, while embracing the future.
From devastation to global powerhouse, what a journey. From the ashes of war to the speed of the bullet train, resilience, ingenuity, and an unstoppable drive to overcome obstacles. I'm inspired by their story, their determination to rebuild, to reinvent themselves.
I hope that inspiration leads to action for our listeners. What challenge are you facing? What dream feels impossible? Maybe Japan's story can spark an idea, a new perspective, a renewed sense of determination. Remember their resilience, their ingenuity, their commitment to excellence. Maybe their experience can ignite that same spark in you.
We all have that capacity for growth, for achievement, even when facing adversity. And if you love stories of resilience and innovation, subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating moments. We'll be back soon with another episode, exploring another corner of the world, uncovering the lessons hidden within. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions. That idea of balance really sticks with me. How Japan achieved such progress but also dealt with all the social and cultural shifts really adds another layer to their story, right?
For sure, it shows their resilience, not just rebuilding their infrastructure, their economy, but navigating those societal changes too. As we wrap up, we should look at the lasting impact, the lessons we can learn, and how those resonate today.
Yeah, good point. And what stands out to you? What are the biggest takeaways from this period in Japanese history?
Well, first, it just reinforces how powerful resilience is. Imagine facing that level of destruction, and then not just rebuilding, but innovating, adapting, emerging as a world leader. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, we can grow, we can transform.
It's like they use that devastation as fuel for progress.
Yeah.
It's almost a guide for overcoming adversity.
You could say that. And beyond just being resilient, Japan's approach to economic development, it offers some real insights. The Yoshida Doctrine, remember, prioritizing economic recovery over military spending. That was key to their rapid growth.
But we talked about this before. It wasn't without criticism to rely on the U.S. for security while focusing on the economy. Balancing national pride with the need to rebuild must have been a tough call.
It shows the tough choices leaders have to make after conflict or crisis, trade-offs, complexities. It takes long-term vision, willingness to make difficult decisions.
And their commitment to quality and precision.
Yeah.
It became what Japanese manufacturing was known for. It's incredible how they built that reputation for excellence, not just in electronics either, but across so many industries.
Yeah, it's about dedication to craftsmanship, to getting the details right, understanding that quality builds trust, which ultimately leads to success. It's that attention to detail, that commitment to excellence. We can all apply that no matter what we do, whether we're building products, leading teams, or even just pursuing personal goals.
Taking pride in your work, whatever it is. So resilience, strategic planning, a commitment to quality. Those are some powerful lessons from Japan's post-war transformation. But what about the cultural side of things? How did they deal with modernization and tradition, all happening at the same time during such rapid change?
It's a fascinating part of their story. So Japan's embracing new technologies, Western influences, but there's also this effort to preserve their cultural heritage, their identity, trying to balance it all, embracing progress without losing their roots.
And that's a struggle many societies face, right? Modernization, globalization. How do you embrace the new but hold on to what makes you unique? Not an easy question to answer. But Japan's experience might offer some clues.
It does. It reminds us that progress doesn't have to erase the past. It's about finding ways to blend tradition and innovation, honoring your heritage, and embracing the future.
What an incredible journey this has been, exploring Japan's path from devastation to global powerhouse, from the ashes of war to the speed of the bullet train. Resilience, ingenuity, that relentless drive to overcome anything. Their story is truly inspiring. Their determination to rebuild, to reinvent themselves, it's pretty remarkable.
And I hope it inspires our listeners to take action. What challenge are you facing? What dream seems out of reach? Maybe Japan's story can spark an idea, a fresh perspective, or just that extra push to go for it. Remember their resilience, their ingenuity, their commitment to excellence, and let their experience ignite that spark in you.
We all have that capacity for growth, for achievement, even when times are tough. And if you're as fascinated by these stories of resilience and innovation as we are, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating moments. We'll be back with another episode soon, exploring another corner of the world and uncovering the lessons hidden within. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions.